frankly brings me to that birthday party in 1997.
Yes, I was going to ask about that.
I'm only bringing it up because I know if we don't talk about it here, I'm going to get shit. I mean,
so who ended up coming? Because I know Triple H in China, right?
Yeah, Triple H, China, The Rock.
Wow.
But this was right. Like
you want to see my eyebrow? Should I show that one?
Yeah, do it.
Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?
That was good.
I don't know.
I liked it. And we are back, another episode, Talking Trash Podcast, and
PTSD from playoffs right there.
Hey, listen.
Are those allowed in the city of Danbury limits?
I don't know, man. I mean, that was another rule.
FPHL
I believe.
Rule. It's a Danbury rule.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny because we were talking the other day, and we'll get into it another time about, when I used to be up in the luxury boxes for the games, and I used to, me and my boys, we used to blow these horns all day. So you'd have Section 102 one side here. So I need to bring an air horn into this.
Bring it back.
You had a story about, what did this remind you of?
As soon as I seen that thing, it reminded me of a Christmas. I don't know how old I was. It had to be years ago, but my dad bought my mom and my sister, it was called dog repellent. And it was, it was in a pack and it had a dog on it. It was dog repellent. Well, it was actually pepper spray. My mom and my sister thought that it was a noisemaker. So,
nice.
Yeah, so me and my dad, I can't remember what I got, but we went outside to something that I got or whatever. We're just messing around with it. All of a sudden we hear my mom and my sister scream and run around the house. And we knew right away what it was. They pepper sprayed themselves. They pepper sprayed themselves on Christmas morning.
Simultaneously, both at the same.
Yeah,
that would be pretty funny.
It was one of the greatest Christmases ever. Honestly.
Well, hey,
it was funny. No, it wasn't the greatest Christmas ever, but I'm sorry to my mom and my sister for having to go through that, but it was pretty funny.
Well, listen, we're on the road to Christmas. we just had Thanksgiving a few days ago. Why do we eat so much at Thanksgiving? I don't know about you. I mean, you're still an athlete. I mean, why Thanksgiving do we decide? We have access to turkey all the time. Okay, this isn't like the 1800s. We have access to turkey. Why do we gorge on Thanksgiving?
I don't know. Eat till discomfort. That's how I grew up. It was my uncle used to always say it. Shout out to my Uncle Nelson. He'd always tell me, eat till discomfort. I don't know why he said that. I don't know why he said that. I still do it. I eat till I get sick. So it's more of a year-round thing for me. But, maybe that's why I grew, I guess.
I like Uncle Nelson's style, man. Eat till discomfort. And that's what I did the other day. I don't know why I do it. And you know what's funny? Every Thanksgiving at night, I'm sick to my stomach. I'm testing the plumbing wherever I'm at, and I say to myself, I'm never doing this again. Next year, that's it. I write notes in my phone, don't overeat, and I do. I don't know what it is.
I'm just glad you didn't send me any pictures this time.
Well, listen, and I'm glad you just mentioned that because I'm a firm believer in total honesty, and obviously the subjects we won't touch being the guys we are, but I'm all about honesty, and I think the measure of a true friend, and I don't know how you feel about it. I don't know if this is a Canadian thing, but where I come from, that's your boy if you have text threads of shit pictures.
Oh, yeah. I can agree with that.
Shout out Adrian Hoda. Shout out, well, my boy Manny in Brooklyn doesn't really get down like that, but shout out to my guy Adrian in Florida, my best friend growing up. It's disgusting. And I hope this clip goes viral because I don't have any pride. I could care less.
I'll shout out Uncle Fern on that one. Probably taking a mud right now.
Listen to me.
Kind of rough.
I ate so much corn the other day. My shit looked like a Pittsburgh Steeler helmet. You know the Pittsburgh Steeler colors?
Yeah.
And that's what my toilet looked like. And shout out to all the shit pics out there. Listen, maybe that's a segment going. I don't know if we'll get demonetized in the future on YouTube.
Probably
putting
already are after
shit
this.
pictures, but I really don't care. Shout out to my closest friends know we send each other and we analyze it.
Yeah, it's kind of
my boy Adrian.
It's like a health thing, right?
I think it's health thing.
Trying to check in, hey, does this look normal to you?
Listen, there's nothing funnier than shit and farts as far as I'm concerned. How's that for an audio clip? And I'm dead serious. I stand on that. And man. And listen, shout out to my boy Adrian. He actually changed the game. He sent me audio the other day.
Wow. That's a game changer.
He's a Tabasco sauce guy, almost to the point where it actually makes me visibly sick when I watch him eat because he has hot sauce up the yin yang, and this kid pays for it. And
I bet.
He had a rough night the other, and he sent me audio, and it changed the game. So now I got to step up to the plate.
Audio's tough. I feel like I'd rather just.
Well, we'll play this after. I don't think our podcast is up to that point yet where we can play audio.
They're not ready for it.
But I'll play it to you after. But
thanks.
Listen,
man.
on the road.
I appreciate that.
Great Thanksgiving. Hope you guys all had a great Thanksgiving. I'm sure you're sick after hearing that talk, but hey, you
You're
know
not
what?
hungry anymore.
It's the Talking Trash podcast, brother. I don't care. Listen, let's go real quick. Like I said, I always like to go to what the fans and people are writing in. And again, one of the things, like I said, I'm all for negativity. I like negativity, and I've been getting some heat recently. The first 2 episodes, I've been getting a little heat. I feel like I'm fairly likable, but some people just don't like me, and that's fine. But I've been getting a lot of heat, and I'm gonna read something here. AJ, can you please stop saying the words man, and bro every other sentence in your podcast? Well, listen. I'm not a friggin' professional broadcaster. I'm not a seasoned. We just wing this.
Yeah,
okay? Do we wing this? We literally sit outside.
Acapella.
And we wing this. I'm not a professional broadcaster, okay? Whoever wrote this, go scratch your sister's ass. I don't care. But this is
bro. When I think of bro, I think of Simon
Levy.
Bick, bro.
Everybody go follow, and we'll put a link. Simon Big Cuts Levy in Montreal, our brother.
Best cut man in the game.
Best cut man ever. And
he has a good tape job, too, on the hands. Great hand. He tapes.
He's the best. He's the best of the best. And he's upcoming boxing. He's that guy. But, So what I talked to Shane about, one of our producers here, is from this episode on, we're going to have an bro, and man counter. And every time I say bro, or man, we're going to tally
Let's
it. And
definitely tally that.
At the end of each month, I'll put a designated dollar amount on it, and we'll send it to a charity. Since this guy is all bent out of shape. Another thing from the fans, Diamond Hands, how long did it take for you to grow your handlebar mustache, and is that your favorite facial hairstyle?
Not a huge fan of the handlebars myself. I just think I think the character, it goes with the character, man. I got a mullet and handlebars. I run around like a maniac, I feel like I'm a WWF character from early 90s, Attitude Era. Is now that I know what Attitude Era is. So I'm trying to just embrace the scene, handlebars and a mullet.
There's some people that could just pull certain things off, and you can rock that handlebars, the mullet. Shout out to your son, by the way, who has probably the second best mullet I ever seen.
Yeah,
okay,
Wesley's mullet is nasty.
Big shout out to Big West, my buddy.
West.
That is my boy. And listen, we're very private with our children. We're not gonna be posting them up, but I will say, if you do see Big West at the Danbury Arena, you gotta check out that mullet.
Oh yeah, he's got some serious. He's got the jeans.
He's got the jeans.
I actually cut it myself. I gave him that fade. I faded him up.
That is
faded him up.
And the last question we got, a lot of people, the first few episodes, AJ, where did you get the Trashers chain? Big shout out, the aforementioned Adrian, my best friend growing up, my shit pick friend.
Nice.
This is a great promo. He gets hit twice today. Down in Florida, Capote Diamond. Shout out to my boy Robbie and Adrian, both Danbury guys, by the way. Moved down to Florida. So the Danbury, if I was going to do this, it had to be with the Danbury guys.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Love that.
And
gotta support the boys.
And listen, when I was 17, 18, you saw the big Trasher chain I had.
Oh yeah.
I really debated on trying to bring it back, but it just at 37,
still too big.
I can't do it. But I still have it. It's special to me.
I feel like there was a lot of stuff that I had in my wardrobe that I just had to retire when I had kids. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I looked at it and I'm like, man, I really like it. I think it looks good, but I can't wear that now.
We should do a segment about our styles, because we've seen old pictures of each other.
Yeah.
Mine a little more publicly, but I've seen you. You were right up there with me.
I was right there with you in the gangster photos for sure.
And listen, we should do some segments on that. And you know what the messed up thing, bro, is? And we could thank our buddy Drake. Now Baggy is coming back.
Yeah, maybe we can bring it back.
I got rid of all my 3XL shirts, and now it's slowly coming back.
Did you wear tall tees?
5 for 20, 5 for 20 at Foot Locker. You damn right I got the tall tees.
That's hilarious.
I got tall tees up the yin yang, brother. But listen, before we go on, I feel like we have to get somewhat serious for a minute. And, being that we are the Talking Trash podcast, hockey's a big part of what we do. And there was an incident overseas recently, and it's a few weeks after the fact now. And one thing about me is when something tragic happens, I don't like to comment on things until you kind of settle down, because there's always emotions when you first hear something, see something. And a lot of times people flip-flop back and forth with their opinions. And, listen, it's been talked about a lot in the hockey world and even outside of hockey, just sports in general. It's been a hot topic. I know we both talked about wanting to wait a little bit to kind of touch on it. I feel like we'd be doing a disservice if we didn't speak about it, and I have my reasons why. I don't want to play the clip, but unfortunately there was an incident in a professional league overseas.
Eihl.
Yeah, where a former NHL player, Adam Johnson, tragically passed away on, not on the ice, but it happened on the ice. And, again, I'm sure there's a lot of hockey people watching this podcast. They've probably seen the clip. I've seen it. I know you and I have watched it. Unfortunately, a defenseman named Matt Petgrave, also, in my opinion, is a victim of this incident. He's still breathing and living, but he's gonna have to live with this one. I mean, if you want to kind of explain what, because I don't want to play the clip because I think it's
I think people have probably seen it,
and I don't think we need to do that. But if you want to describe really what went down, I mean,
so I see, like, from what I've seen, and it's crazy. Like, we've talked about this so much. Like, we've gone both ways on it on numerous occasions, back and forth, back and forth. Obviously, I don't think I don't think he had the intention of that happening. Like, obviously, I don't think anybody goes into a hockey game.
Well, let me set it up. I don't mean to interrupt you. So, long story short, the Cliff Note version of what happened was, Adam Johnson's going. He's a forward. He's going in. He's attacking the zone, and Matt Petgrave, who's a defenseman, kind of awkwardly, his skate comes up and slices Adam Johnson's throat, and it was kind of crazy to watch. I mean, I've seen a lot of violence through hockey and other stuff, and allegedly, and it was tough to watch, bro. Even for me, and me as a father now, it kind of hit me a lot different. So this poor guy's down, and he ends up passing away in the locker room.
Yeah,
and
it's really sad, and I'm sorry for all of his family and friends and any teammates and stuff that had to go through losing somebody they care about. That's
Have you ever experienced something? I mean,
not
that I know of that someone passed, but you just hit it on the head, and we've talked about it. You as a player, you're the guy that's gonna go through anything for your guys, and have you experienced something where you've seen a horrific? I mean, obviously, taking it back to the trashes, I remember being in the building when Brad Wingfield had his leg cowardly broken by Adam Elzinger. That's just such a horrible feeling because, these are your family now. And when you see that, it's just such a horrible, horrible thing to see.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine what it would be like to see your teammate going through that. And honestly, just being on the ice at all during that, it doesn't matter what team you're on or who you are. I'm sure Petgrave's feeling it, and honestly too, it's like the other sad side of it is there's a lot of people online giving that Petgrave a lot of heat, saying he's a murderer, basically saying he meant to do this. I mean, regardless if it happened with bad intentions, I don't think even if it did have bad intentions, I don't think he was trying to kill anybody. Maybe he was just trying to trip them or something, but at the end of the day, this kid feels bad. There's no way this kid started that hockey game I'm going to kill somebody today. No, that's the end, the moral of the story. So when I see that online, it kind of bothers me a little bit. But I mean, I did, hearing all different opinions on it. I seen Sean Avery talking about it, and he made a good point. The technology on these blades is getting better and better every year. You didn't see a ton of people getting sliced open back in the day. Yeah, of course it happened. But I know last season I got kicked right in the face.
I remember.
Yeah, I got kicked right and I hit a guy and his skate came up and it hit me right in the face. And I was lucky it didn't cut me. But I remember getting hit with it. And, I'm sure that happens. But now the technology in these steel and the blades that we have now is the blades are thinner. And the steel is the harder and sharper, and it's just getting a little more dangerous. And I don't know, maybe that's something they can change it. Maybe we go back to older steel or something. I don't know. Yeah. But at the end of the day, seeing something like that happens terrible, and I feel bad for everybody involved. Everybody, everybody in that league. You know?
And you know what, bro? We talked about it. There's my first bro. I think the thing that bothers me is, and I look at this outside of hockey, right? Like, I know what it's like to have your name dragged through the mud, through tough circumstances. And really, the minute this happened, the minute I started seeing, hearing when this news broke what happened, what bothers me is, we live in a world, as you know, social media, we're all quick to get on our keyboard, not me, but, not someone like me or you, but these people, he's a murderer, he's dead. First of all, as far as I'm concerned, you got to have a little respect for Johnson's family. I mean, I'm sure that's all they need to hear right now, and then I think people are just everyone's got a platform now who doesn't deserve one. And I don't like, again, there's no winners here. It's like people want to argue and be right, whether he did it on purpose, he didn't do it on purpose. Like, people would rather, at the end of the day, someone passed, someone died. It shouldn't have happened any which way. And for people to try to get in the mind of this Matt Petgrave, again, I'm not defending him. I know people are going to start coming at me, but I'm looking at this outside of hockey. I know what it's like to sometimes wrong place, wrong time, and you're getting dragged through. I mean, his career is now over.
Yeah, definitely.
And frankly, he's a large part of him has died inside. I mean, he's going to have to live with that the rest of his life. And I kind of feel for the man.
The thing is now with, like, to say about the social media and just like in today's day and age, really at the end of the day, it's kind of guilty till proven innocent.
Yeah, it is.
Because it doesn't matter if you're guilty in court anymore, because when you get blasted on social media and the public decides you're guilty, you're done. Like, you're not going to get a job. You're not going to, like,
exactly.
You've seen people, I've seen people through the last, especially after like COVID times and all that stuff, people are getting crazy.
Yeah, it's
people
getting a little nuts.
Yeah, and people were losing their jobs for stuff that had happened where, like, they didn't end up proving they're innocent, but they already lost their job. The damage was already done.
Well, it's like, I mean, we could go off on a tangent on this, but I'm just saying, I was always taught in times of crisis, you don't make immediate emotional decisions, emotional statements. And listen, I mean, at this point, upon airing of this episode, it's somewhat have died down, but I just wanted to wait. I didn't want to just make our first episode about this subject.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And my heart goes out to all of them. And because I know we're going to put this episode out and people are going to think I'm defending Matt Petgrave. It's not that. It's just, this guy's a human being. Do I think he did it on purpose? Because then people are going to, want to know. I don't think he... Do you think he's skilled enough at that pace that he can pinpoint slicing a guy's throat?
No, there's no way he could have, like, if you went out and your intention was like, I am going to spin kick this guy in the throat, essentially.
Yeah.
At center, like, there's no way that all the stars are going to align in that sense where you're balanced the right way, you're leaning the right way. Like, there's no way you can get your skate up like that. I don't know why his skate came around the way it did. To me, maybe he was like, okay, I'm going to miss the hit. I'm going for the hit. Maybe he stuck his leg out to try and get a piece of him.
Maybe.
Possibly, maybe. And you know what? There's a part of me that kind of understands that, because sometimes when you're in those situations, you're just trying to get a piece of them. Like, I know it's happened to me in the past where you stick a leg out, you end up getting a knee or something like that just because you don't want to get beat.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something that happened. But at the end of the day, there's no possible way his intention was to do what had happened, obviously. And there's no way his intentions were to hurt that guy.
No.
It was just trying to get a piece of him. Maybe. I don't even really know because it's hard to tell from the video. But I feel bad for everybody involved. I feel bad for Petgrave. I feel bad for Johnson and his family and teammates.
Well, that's what it all comes down to. At the end of the day, we had an innocent life loss. I feel horrible for the family. And like I said, I'm a father of a 1-year-old now. I look at things a lot different. I can't imagine, even losing a child or, because he obviously has parents likely still alive. It's horrible. I will say this to end the subject is a lot of people have always asked me in the past, like, if you're not involved with the team, like, how do you know if a guy's liked by his teammates? And you know how I do it in hockey? When a guy scores a goal, what's the reaction?
Yeah.
And you and I both know, like, if a guy's really liked, like you scored recently, and it was like you guys won the cup again. You know what I mean? People were jumping. They were hyped for you. Your teammates.
It doesn't happen too often. That's probably why.
Well, still, you're liked, and you're the leader of that team, and that's the truth. And when you scored that goal, I'm watching it, and these guys, even on the bench, jumping up. I mean, I thought the gloves were going to go flying, like you guys won the Commissioner Cup again, but And then you see some guys that have a kind of a weird reputation and they score and it's kind of like, fist bump, half-ass hug. And this is how I'm going to end this subject. Matt Petgrave's teammates all came to his defense. Yeah. Even, I believe, Adam Johnson, some of his teammates even came to his defense. And let me tell you something. If someone's not liked, look, at this day and age, no one's falling on the sword for anyone if they think a guy's shady or a guy's got bad intentions. So I kind of wanted to see how his team reacted, and they've all stood by him. So who the hell knows? Again, horrible situation. I just felt like, we had to touch on it, and I could kind of see it all different angles, but I just I'm hopeful Matt Petgrave can, he's going to need some help after this mentally, because I can't imagine him, being okay,
Yeah, it's a tough situation for everybody involved in the sport,
Yeah. Well, listen, let's get that. We got that seriousness out of the way. Let's get to a little lighter subject. After our last episode, a lot of people are asking to see my backyard wrestling tapes.
Yes.
I definitely think we can make that happen. I mean, you talk about grainy footage. We got something. But we're definitely, and we talked about it, wrestling. I mean, we're around the same age. Did you watch it growing up?
Yeah. Yeah, so, I grew, so it's funny for me because, I always talk about, when I'm talking about wrestling, I say WWF.
I still do that.
Yeah, and to me, it's WWF. Because, when I think about it, I'm thinking about WWF Days, The Rock, Stone Cold, those were The Rock and Stone Cold were, in my day, when I was watching it, they were the most active. They were the guys. It was either one or the other, kind of thing. So, Triple H, X-Pac, and all those guys,
it's.
I don't know how many times kids got suspended in school for doing the suck it. Hey, how many times did kids get suspended for that?
They banned the Degeneration X shirt from my school in middle school. I remember because they had those
no hand gestures.
The neon green Degeneration X, and it said "suck it" on the back, and the U was an asterisk.
Oh,
and I got it.
Hilarious.
I think my dad snuck it for me. My mom would have never let me get that. The scary thing is half the time, some of the kids didn't even know what that meant. They just knew that DX was saying it, man.
That's funny.
And I remember the first wrestling event I ever went to, God, I want to say 94, Madison Square Garden. It was an untelevised show. I remember it was a steel cage match, Bret Hart and Psycho Sid. And it was just, I talked about
Great Canadian kid, Bret Hart.
Oh, Bret Hart, the most famous Canadian I started with. I mean, I didn't know any Canadians up until that point except Bret Hart and his brother Owen Hart.
Owen Hart. R.I.P., right?
Yeah, man, that's another thing.
They own I'm pretty sure the Hitman, the Calgary Hitman WHL team is owned by
Really?
Bret Hart, I think.
Why did I not know that?
I'm pretty sure. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure.
They got sick jerseys too.
Yeah.
The Hitman jerseys.
Totally.
We gotta
get our hands on one of those.
Hey, it's almost Christmas time, folks. Anyone wants to send some Calgary Hitman? Is it Calgary Hitman or
Calgary Hitman?
Yeah, all those jerseys are fire.
Sick jerseys, yeah.
But wrestling, like I said, I don't know what it was for me. It's kind of I feel like, especially our generation, right? I feel like the circus, right? All kids, whether they like it or not, know about the circus. I feel like wrestling was the same thing. Everybody, whether you watched or didn't, was wrestling. And me growing up, like you said, it was WWF. And at the time, there was also a rival company, WCW. It's funny, there might be people watching this young enough that don't even know WCW. And that was some gang shit. When I grew up,
you pick one or the other.
You were WWF or you were WCW. Yeah. See, kids nowadays, they flip-flop and flounder. They don't even like sport teams anymore. They enjoy, they like players. They don't like
they don't want to draw a line in the sand.
Look, basketball, I'm a Knicks fan. Suck or no suck. I'm a now Las Vegas Raiders fan. Shout out to my boy Max Crosby.
I got a Raiders. That's the only football jersey I got to Raiders.
The Raiders have brought me more pain than anything in my life in terms of sports. But we're on the come up. But what I'm saying is my team, and that's how I grew up. Your team, good, bad. Yeah. Kids today, they like players. Oh, wherever LeBron James is playing, that's my team.
Every year,
it drives me crazy, bro. Steph Curry. I mean, it's great players, but you gotta stick with a team. So WWF, WCW.
Draw your line in the sand.
Dude, and so 3/4 of my buddies growing up were WWF guys. Then we had a couple.
WCW is like the bad guys, kind of, right?
Yeah,
they were almost like the
tried
heel.
to, and it's weird because you would think that I would be more drawn to the underdog promotion, but I was a WWF guy through and through. Yeah. And I had a couple loser friends that were WCW guys. So on Mondays, we wouldn't talk to each other because, you had Monday Night Raw, WWF, and then you had WCW Monday Night Nitro. And I tell you, Ames, the only time in my life, up until now, 37 years old, I ever have to look back and question my loyalty. WCW came out with a video game called WCW NWO Revenge on N64.
Right, yeah.
It was at the time a revolutionary video game.
That was like the first wrestling game, wasn't it?
It wasn't the first wrestling game, but it was the first like next generation game.
Yeah. Like
the
you could see the characters.
Sick,
Yeah.
The moves were sick.
Yeah.
And
you could like pick up steel chairs and stuff.
Like it was just it blew WWF games at that time out of the water. My buddy Adam had the game. He was a WCW guy. And I go to Adam's house. And this is a true story. I'm there with my friends, Steve, Deep. I can name them all. We were all there. And Adam's playing WCW Revenge. And I'm watching this game and I'm thinking to myself, ooh, this game is fire. I'm like, this game is so sick, bro. But I won't play it. I'm like, I'm not going to play it.
You ride or die. You wouldn't play it.
Dude, I would not play it.
That's unreal.
He kept trying it, but I was tempted. And that was the one time I could say I questioned my loyalty is WCW versus and all of my wrestling fans out there know what I'm talking about. That was the game that kind of changed the game for wrestling. And then WWF obviously stepped up. But
who was it that jumped off the Megatron? Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon. Yo, that shit. I gotta throw some respect on Shane McMahon because he came out of nowhere. Obviously, he wasn't like a wrestler. Like his dad ran
Vince's
the show.
son.
And his dad, he probably wanted some limelight, and his dad's probably like, all right, prove it. Let's see what's up. And he's like, I'll prove it. That was honestly pretty hardcore.
Dude,
what is that? 50 feet, 40
Dude,
feet? That was huge.
When I used to watch Shane, I used to feel a connection with him, right? Like trying to, in a way you could tell he was trying to come out, he wanted to create his own legacy through a shadow, but he also at the same time was trying to earn respect with his dad.
He earned my respect because when I seen that, I was like, yo, this guy's a beast.
Listen, that was SummerSlam 1990-something. It was Steve Blackman. He hit him with the kendo stick and he took a trust fall dive all the way. That was insane, bro.
Yeah, that was nuts. I still go back and watch that from time to time.
Bro, I watch wrestling. Dude, I watch wrestling, like I said, 3 times a week. We got Monday Night Raw, we got Tuesday NXT, and then Friday Night SmackDown. And then if there's a premium live event or pay-per-view, they used to call it, so my wife's always happy with that.
You were in NXT, weren't you?
Oh, yeah.
So what like can you give us that story? Like what went down? Didn't some shit go down when you were down there?
So after the doc came out, the greatest thing that happened was WWE called and said, hey, in November of 2021, they were doing a SmackDown in Hartford, Connecticut. They're like, hey, they made a collab shirt, SmackDown and Trashers. I still have it. I
actually have one of those.
Dude,
just so you know. I don't know how I got it.
Did you steal it from me? Because I don't know where mine is.
Someone gave it to me.
My wife either took it or you took it.
Someone gave it to me. It was wrapped in plastic. It was brand new.
Well, listen.
Dr. Hartsburg gave it to me.
Who the hell is Dr. Hartsburg?
It's my Cairo guy.
How the hell did he get one?
Yeah, how did he get them? He said he bought a bunch of them and he had a trunk.
He might have.
Yeah. So shout out to Hartsburg.
Well, listen, you got to understand, like, wrestling to me, first of all, it's 100% real. I don't care what any of you say. We could fight about it online, people, whatever. So
I'll fight you.
Why?
No, these guys that say
I thought you were going to fight me.
No, we're the tag team, dude. We'll tag team anybody that says it ain't real. I'll slam you through a fucking table.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
But listen,
I'll jump off the Megatron right through your fucking head.
So WWE calls, and again, they're located in Stamford, Connecticut, not far from here. And you got to remember, at the time I'm 35, I'm 37 now. I don't get starstruck. I don't get too excited, but anything wrestling related, I turn into the 8-year-old kid all over again. And when I'm at SmackDown, sitting front row with my family, my wife, and we're wearing Trasher SmackDown shirts. I was like, you know when you feel like you're not present? Like I feel like you're dreaming? Like I felt like I was dreaming. It was insane. Yeah. Shout out to my boy Pat McAfee, who became like a family friend. He was the commentator at SmackDown, came over. We had dinner with him. I mean, Pat's like one of the biggest things out there right now. Yeah. Shout out to Pat, all the guys there.
His thing right now is bumping. He's buzzing.
And
right
I
now.
knew. And I mean, he was bumping when I met him.
Yeah.
And I did his podcast, and we met. He flew to Danbury to meet with us.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And he was popping back then, but now he's on a whole nother stratosphere.
Yeah, he's on ESPN now, isn't he?
But you know why he's successful? Because he's loyal and all his team has been from day one.
That's
all those
awesome.
guys, Zito.
That's unreal.
All his boys, he brings his guys with him no matter what. And and he's loyal, he's humble, and he's gonna keep going. But those are my guys. But but yeah, and then after SmackDown, I remember the next month they were like, "Hey, listen, WrestleMania weekend. This is 2022 now. Is in Dallas," and I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Please." I'm like, and they're like, "We want to know if you want to go." I'm like, "Dude, bucket list item. I've never been to a WrestleMania," and I'm
That's like the Super Bowl. It's the Super Bowl of
it might be
WWE.
bigger. It might be bigger than the Super because they're at the point now where they're selling out football stadiums.
I just should go by saying this right now. I've never been to a live wrestling event, and I
we're
really,
gonna go.
really want to.
We're gonna go. We're gonna go.
We might
soon.
have to make an episode.
We're gonna have to go soon.
Yeah.
So it was just, hey, listen, you know what? We're gonna send you to WrestleMania, 2 tickets. My wife was pregnant. She didn't want to go. I didn't blame her, so I brought my boy Manny. We went. But beforehand, they were like, hey, listen, so NXT, so WWE's broken up. You got Monday Night Raw, you got Friday Night SmackDown. Those are 2 separate rosters, but they do have a developmental / minor league system, the NXT.
Right.
All the big guys nowadays come from NXT. It's just like hockey, you got to come up.
Feeder system.
So they got a guy, Tony D'Angelo.
That's your guy, right? That's your boy.
Oh, that's my brother, man. And they wanted me to walk him out to the ring, and I was like, done.
Yeah.
Never asked for a penny. I'm like, you don't, and we'll get you a flight. I'm like, no, I'll get myself there. Don't worry, just don't change your mind. Let me get there. You don't have to.
I'm on my way.
There was 0 investment in me.
Yeah.
So I go. Shout out to Tony D, like another brother to me. I'll never forget him looking out and letting me do this with him. You know what I mean? And when I walked through that curtain with him, stand and deliver at WrestleMania weekend, I don't know how I made it to the ring because my legs were jelly. I was like, we were in God, what's the name of that? Where the Dallas Mavericks play and the Dallas Stars play. We're in a big sold out arena. I'm walking down and I'm just, dude, if you see the footage, I'm like in another world. I'm like, it was unreal.
I think I did see it actually.
So next thing you know, I'm in a feud with him. Me and Tony D'Angelo. We're taking on.
You got in a beef with some?
We got a beef with at the time they were called the Legados del Fantasma. You had Santos Escobar, who's a big guy on SmackDown now, and his little goons. And they were giving Tony a hard time. Tony brought me in, and we had some serious static to the point where I got kidnapped.
Jeez.
They kidnapped me, sucker move, brought me to an undisclosed place. I don't want to say too much, but, and thankfully, through the grace of God, I'm here. Back. Tony got me back. My dad, everyone helped out. We're back. I'll be back. Tony and I talk. I kind of advise him on things out there, and shout out to all the NXT guys, and those are the best guys and girls to watch because they're trying to make it, man. They're tough.
Sheriff's, bro. I ran in. So I was coming back from. What was I doing? I think I was coming back from Vegas, maybe. I think I was coming back from Vegas.
The Stanley Cup game, right?
I went to the Stanley Cup game, and I ran into, I want to say it was in Vegas. I ran into Sheriff's brother.
You did. You told me at the airport.
I think it was in Vegas.
Yeah, because you went to, didn't you watch
it
Nights?
Was either that or, it was in Vegas, and I ran into Sean McMorrow's brother.
Yeah. Shout out Sean McMorrow, by the way.
Sean McMorrow, great
the Sheriff,
dude.
One of the greatest hockey fighters all time.
So literally, and it was funny because this guy's standing in front of me, and I'd actually talked to Sheriff's brother before on Instagram. I think his handle's like the real 7-footer.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
This guy's 7 feet tall. So we had messaged before, And I see this guy at the airport. I didn't know it was him. He had his back to me, and I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at this person's feet, and I'm like, this guy's got to have the biggest feet I've ever seen in my life. And then I just start looking up at him, and I just watched Avatar like a couple days before, and I was like, yo, this guy's like a real life Avatar. This is like the biggest, and I was just like looking at his ears. I was looking at his head. I was like fascinated. Like, this is the biggest human I've ever seen.
He's built like a shit brick house. No fat.
Yeah, and he's jacked too. And he turns around and he goes, oh, what's up, Diamond Hands? And I'm just like, what? Like, how does this guy know who I am? And then I finally after I started talking to him, he's like, oh, I'm Sean McMorrow's brother. And I was like, oh, the real 7-footer. So shout out. I think he's down training with NXT right now.
I heard that he's in developmental, and man, he'd be a hell of a guy in WWE.
He'd be
man.
awesome to see. He's a monster.
We got to get McMorrow down here, Sean Sheriff, one of the best guys in the world. You know, like I said, one of those King of the Rink fraternity guys.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind the first two at least. You know what I mean?
I'd probably let the real 7-footer slam me through a table.
You know what I would do now? So listen. So when I went down to NXT, I told him straight up. I said, listen, I will. You know, if I'm listen, nothing's predetermined in wrestling games. Nothing's predetermined. It's all on the fly. Down. So I kept talking trash to Santos, and I'm like, listen, if you want to hit me, do what you got to do. I will go through a table one day. It's gonna happen. Like you always teach me to put in the universe. I will go through a table, and. But yeah, obviously wrestling is just a huge part of my life.
So did I tell you the story about my cousin when he was in he was in high school and they did at the talent show, they did like a wrestling thing. Yeah, so my cousin Jamie Silva, shout out
Jamie.
And I got to get you some sticks, but he was a huge wrestling fan too. I'm not sure if he still watches wrestling as much as he did, but massive wrestling fan. And so in high school for the talent show, they did like a wrestling thing. And they had a table that they were supposed to break over his back or like break
go through.
Oh yeah. They were supposed to break it, and they swung and hit him, and it didn't break. And it was just like you could hear the noise that it made, just like a loud thump. So then they tried again, and it didn't break. And they're like, "All right."
So when I got video of this one, so Dennis the Menace at the gym. Shout out Dennis the Menace, real name Jace Wilkie. So.
He's got some good chirps.
Oh yeah, he's we're gonna have him on reviewing some hockey fights. But anyway, he's also somewhat of a wrestling fan. And at the gym, as you know, Chance Boxing Club, we got the old school industrial lights. We got those long light poles, probably like 4 feet long. So every time one goes out, I take it down.
You busted over his head?
No, he busted over my. Nice. So we did a skit together, and he wanted for his TikTok, of course, and so we had the whole thing planned out, and it was supposed to, those things are easy to break. He was supposed to hit me once with it, was gonna break, and that's the end of it. He whipped me, but he plays baseball too. He whipped me 3-4 times with that damn thing. It
wasn't breaking?
It was not breaking.
Oh my God.
I had a thing on my back. It's crazy. I got video of that. That's hilarious. Shout out to Dennis the Menace, that little nut job.
We're going to have him on the pod. I feel like some of his chirps, dude. We had Dennis in the dunk tank. Jace. His actual name's Jace. We just call him Dennis the Menace.
So when Dennis first came to the gym, he's probably 4 or 5 years old. He had this hair was a lot blonder, and he was a wise ass. And I'm like, this kid's like Dennis the Menace, and his name is Jace, but everyone calls him Dennis. It's hilarious.
Yeah, we got a couple quotes in the dressing room thanks to Jace.
Yeah. Jace is a legend. And
we'll keep the quotes in the dressing room.
We have so many, as you know, through the gym and everything else, we have a lot of young kids that are some characters that we're going to feature here. They deserve to shine,
definitely.
Bro. It's not all about big names. We're going to have these kids on the come up here.
Yeah, 100%.
But again, wrestling was it still is a big part of my life, and which frankly brings me to that birthday party in 1997.
Yes, I was going to ask about that.
I'm only bringing it up because I know if we don't talk about it here, I'm going to get shit. I mean, like you said.
Who ended up coming? Because I know Triple H in China, right?
Yeah, Triple H, China, The Rock.
Wow.
But this was right. Like
you want to see my eyebrow? Should I show that one?
Yeah, do it.
Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?
That was good.
I don't know.
I liked it.
I thought it was pretty sick when I was like 12 years old, though.
Everyone tried that. I couldn't do it.
Just being able to do the eyebrow was a cool thing back then.
I can't do it.
Yeah. I can only do it one side, though.
I could do the left a little. Fuck it. But like we said, the Attitude Era was like probably the end of 97, maybe 98. And it was right before the Attitude Era kind of started. So we had The Rock, Triple H in China, Billy Gunn, who ended up being big in the Attitude Era. But it was like, they were all like mid guys, right? Yeah. They weren't there yet. And to this day, man, like I see this guy, The Rock, on every other movie, and I'm just like, this guy was...
Dude, he's a beast, man.
He was the shyest guy in the world at the birthday party. The shyest guy in the world. Crazy. He was very humble, nice guy, took pictures, autographs. The most outgoing was China. Rest in peace, China. China ate... Dude, like you see these competitive... I mean, we could get into competitive eating another time, you and me, because...
Dude, I don't even want to talk. Let's not even talk about cannolis ever on this show.
No. Dude, China ate like an absolute animal. Like, she probably 8 burgers, and
I respect that.
She was the sweetest woman in the world. I loved her.
8 burgers.
Easily, maybe more. She needed her protein intake
Gains.
or whatever. She was a monster, man. And John Cena,
I remember watching it live when China was doing flips across the room and her boob blew up. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah,
I remember seeing that live. What happened?
I don't know. China was the first, like, they always had females, they always had broads in wrestling, but she was like the first one that, like, she beat a man. I forget who did she beat? Who did she beat?
Dude.
Damn, who did she beat? She beat a man for the Intercontinental title. It was a big to do. All the real masculine men were real pissed about that one. She was
pretty strong.
Dude, her arms, bro.
Yeah.
Huge. She was. And then John Cena's an honorary trasher. He came to the trasher game the first year when we played Adirondack. And I still have the blue trasher jersey we gave him, number 54. He signed it for me. I got to find it. But John Cena,
have it. Oh,
it's
nice.
somewhere. It's got to be. Unless my mom sold that with my sports cards that I used to have. My mom, shout out to Roseanne.
Is that a thing that moms do?
I don't know,
My mom, how about this one? My mom had a garage sale and sold all my dad's fishing stuff one time.
Well, that's subliminal messaging to your dad.
That's fucked up.
My mom swears my cards are somewhere. There's no way. And we'll get into that another day. Like, I got my obsessive compulsive over sports cards. I have so many cards and they're gone. My mom swears they're somewhere, but they're gone. Somebody has them.
Maybe one day they'll come up.
Maybe, man. But listen, it was great times, and wrestling. That's it, man.
Was there any other crazy birthday stories that you had from back those days?
Oh, we do. We got some stories. I mean, see, so everyone always talks about 1997 because of this Netflix documentary, the wrestling party, but nobody realizes that the next year, 1998.
One-upped?
Listen,
almost?
Man, looking back, it's
right?
50-50.
Yeah.
Martin Brodeur,
wow.
Hall of Fame goalie.
That was your team, too, because
I'm a New Jersey Devils. Devils through and through. Even now, I'm back into hockey. Devils are my team. We're on the come up again. We're looking good. But Martin Brodeur, 1990... I was turning 12 years old, so 98.
Starstruck for sure.
I was a little starstruck for him. Like the wrestlers, it was like, oh man, but it was like, oh man, Martin Brodeur's is at the birthday party. It was just crazy.
And what year was that?
98. I was turning 12. He was coming off a cup like 2 years he was about to win another one 2 years later. Oh, wow. And Sheldon Surrey, defenseman. Sheldon Surrey
was a beast too. Tough D-man.
Hell of a slap shot.
Old school, just the old school, gritty.
So my dad went on, my parents basically ruined birthdays for me because how do you top those?
You never have a birthday.
My
like that
sister,
again.
Shout out Candace, my sister always felt she got the raw end of the deal with birthday parties. So my birthday was in August, so you had pool parties.
Summertime.
It's nice. She's October 12th, so
middle
fall, dreary. I hate the month of October. Yeah. She to this day has PTSD. She always feels like she got the raw end of the deal. I don't think she did. She did all right for herself, but she loves talking about that.
My sister feels the same way, so we can relate on that.
My God. So, we were talking last week. I mean, last episode, things, and we kind of on the spot of, this is only our third episode, and we're learning a lot of this on the go. Again, we're not professional broadcasters. Yeah. We're two nut jobs here.
Definitely not. We're kind of wild cards, so I don't know.
So, we're learning. I got a pen and paper here. You may not see it. And we write ideas that come up on the fly. Everything we're doing is winging it. That's how I live my life. I literally wing most shit. And one thing last week, you went on a tangent.
Well, what's funny is I just said wild card, and I was thinking about my tangent that
you got a lot of anger in there.
You
got a lot of pain and anger in that soul.
Come on, though, like.
So we decided after last week's episode we were going to start a segment called Two in the Box. And Two in the Box is obviously, especially when I play two, it relates to us because we're getting penalties. And most penalties, your penalties are usually majors, but most penalties are 2 minutes. And that's a phrase, 2 minutes in the box. So we decided we're going to start a segment called 2 minutes in the box. I'm going to time it. Shane, make sure you're timing this. You got 2 minutes to rant on something. Last week, you went on an unprovoked tangent of syrup. You just went off on syrup.
Dude, it's not, no, the tangent wasn't about the syrup. The tangent was about the knockoff shit.
All right. Well, you went on something. You were either hungry or angry. You were mad and you went off. So I'm like, we said, look, let's do a 2 minute rant called 2 minutes in the box. And
what are we going to do? What are we going to talk about?
well, listen, the Texas Rangers in baseball just won the World Series. And I remember when the playoffs started back in October, I remember you called me one night after one of the wild card games, and you were, again, hyped about something. And I figured what better way, in honor of baseball ending, one of my favorite sports, to our first segment, Two in the Box, has to be you, obviously.
Right.
And you have to go on and...
we're going to do the baseball fucking shit?
Let's go. You got 2 minutes.
All right. Are we already
Let's go.
right
You're
now?
good. I'm watching you.
Okay, so what the fuck's going on? Like I've talked it about before. Someone might have seen it on my page, but like, why are we celebrating winning a wild card round? Like, I get it, celebrating, but popping bottles of champagne, snowboard goggles, the room's taped off. You got the plastic up. Like, doesn't that ruin the finals? When you get to the finals, are you not like, oh yeah, we've done this 10 times? Every single round, you got to celebrate like you won the championship. I do not understand that. I'll never get it. If you're a baseball player, please explain it. I get it. You got a lot of money. You want to spend your money. You want to party. Your sport doesn't like require a ton of like physicalness, and you play a lot of games, so you're probably drinking a hell of a lot. So I kind of get it, but like, you don't celebrate like you won the ship when you win a wild card game, let alone round 1, round 2, however many rounds there is. You celebrate like that when you get the World Series, and then it's fun. It's like, yeah, we haven't done this. I did this once in my life. This is fucking awesome. No, we did it 30 times every season. Oh, we won first game of the year. Let's fucking tape the friggin' dressing room off. Let's get smashed and spray some champagne. No, long fucking road to go. Figure it out.
I tried to make this
the safety's on.
I don't know what happened here, but that deserved whatever.
Fuck me.
Someone explain it. That really gets you.
Someone explain it. And you know what? It kind of took a little low blow on baseball there. Said it wasn't the most physical sport, but you know what? It's a grind. It's a long grind. It's kind of like golf. Like, it'll take you down. It's a lot of games. I get that. I respect that. But like, I feel like if you show up hungover, it's not gonna totally fuck with you. So you know what I mean? Whereas like, if you show up hungover for a hockey game, like, it's a grind, dude. Like, you're huffing and puffing.
Listen.
So like, if you're a baseball player, pro, minor pro, MLB, whoever, maybe give me some insight. Like, what's up with that? Do you agree with it? I
don't agree with it. I agree with you. But, we got to be understanding.
Let the kids play?
Let's be understanding. It's 2023. Half of that shit is for the gram. They want to take the videos. That's what it's for. I get it,
but you don't get to get that part until you win. Like, you don't deserve that gram. You don't deserve that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't deserve that celebration yet, in my opinion. If I'm on your team.
I agree with you.
If I'm on your team, AJ, and we're playing softball at Rogers Park and we win the first round of playoffs and you start spraying champagne, we're going to have some fucking problems.
Listen,
AJ.
I agree.
We're going to have some problems.
I agree.
Hey, because there's a long road. We got playoffs here. We got to go, like, let's focus up.
It is weird.
Save it for the real deal.
It is weird. And baseball's always the long 162 regular season games. And they just keep adding playoffs. They just keep, but because, it's funny. I look at things a lot of, they got to keep adding these damn series because they got to pay the guys. These guys are making friggin' money.
Crazy money.
These baseball guys. I'm trying to teach my son Dominic to throw left-handed, a lefty reliever.
Yeah.
He's making 100%. Money. I don't care.
Baseball was my sport too. Did you know that? That was actually my sport.
You said your dad was pushing you to baseball.
My dad was kind of a wildcat. Like, with baseball, like, he didn't really push me in hockey. Yeah. But I remember my dad would put me in the batting cage and he'd be like, however many balls I hit right-handed, I'd have to hit left-handed.
That's a good dad. That's a good coach.
And I remember one time specifically, I was young, probably too young to be in the hard pitching. Like, you know how there's like different settings, like there's the soft, medium, and the hard, or whatever, like the fast. Yeah, he had me in the fastest one. I was probably 13. And so I hit my ones right-handed, did all right, got my bat on the ball. And then I go lefty, and these things are buzzing. I don't know how fast they're coming in, probably coming in at 80. And I'm trying to hit them left-handed. And, like, when you're doing something switch, like, everything feels off, right?
Yeah.
Like, it feels a little weird. one of these balls comes out, and every once in a while, these things will come out weird, and they'll just come right at your face for whatever reason. And I remember very specifically, and I remember the drive home. I don't know how, I want to say I was 12, because I don't think I should have been crying if I was any older than that. But I literally, the ball curved and came right at my head, because it was I was left. I didn't really know how to like get my shoulder in the way, and I reacted weird, and it hit me right in the cheekbone. And my dad, I honestly think my dad was just disappointed. I wanted to go home after that.
You know what I'm picturing when you're telling this story? You remember Happy Gilmore?
Yeah. Just standing.
When he said, that might be segment. We'll give you a cup.
I'll do it, yeah.
I could see that. That
364 more days till next year's tryouts. I need to toughen up.
That seems like a natural segue to what you just said. We may have to go to All-Star batting cages in Brookfield and
I think I could do.
You do
like
need
medium.
a cup though. I can't.
I'll put a cup on. I got some work to do still with this thing down here in between my legs. I think I got some more.
What do you mean you got something to do?
Well, I can't be like.
Oh, that's what.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like.
Shout out Jamie.
Yeah, shout out Jamie.
Oh my God.
We ain't done it.
Jamie's the best. Your wife is great, man. She's already got 3 children with you in the mix, and then she's having a 4th, basically.
Yeah.
Shout out Jamie.
Yeah, shout out. It's
my money's on Jamie every time. That's a bad girl right there.
That fight, I don't want that.
That's
fight.
a bad girl right there.
You don't
Kim, my wife Kim too. She's like, my wife's like 3 feet tall. She's a few inches short from being a smaller person, and but she's got hands.
I like it.
She can.
Kim's got a little bite. She's got a little bite to her.
She got a bite.
I can see it.
She's got a bite.
I see it. There's a little bite.
She don't play any games. Guys like us need that.
I agree. Yeah,
shout out to all the real women out there.
Shout out. Yeah, I think it's
you guys like us need that.
What do they say? Behind every strong woman, or behind every strong man, is a stronger woman. I think Dean Mayran said that to me. And
shout
I was
out
like,
Dean.
wow, Dean Mayran.
Dean's my. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna
Dean
get
the
a
machine. We can edit it in.
I don't know. Yeah, I gotta edit in this.
You just gotta react like
me up.
And then we'll put the sound in after.
Yeah, Dean Mayran's my guy too. Great people. But
see, we can just do that. Like they don't have to hear it. We can just.
Yeah,
like, oh, it's loud, and then we'll just edit it in.
But listen, you went off on baseball. I'm sure we're gonna get baseball.
Dude, come at me, baseball. Like for real, I'm a baseball guy.
They say that hitting a baseball is the hardest thing in all sports.
I actually kind of agree with that.
I agree with it too.
I agree with that, but
because you see the way these guys throw now, 100 miles. Like I remember growing up, if someone threw 97 or up, that was like, whoa.
That's the real deal, yeah.
Now these guys, that's like, these kids are doing it at 16 years old.
So like, I actually follow, like I used to pitch when I played, and I love the mechanics of it. I love watching the mechanics of it, and my dad was kind of the same way. I think I picked that up from my dad.
What position did you play in baseball?
Shortstop, pitcher.
So you had an arm?
Catcher, yeah.
I played catcher.
I liked throwing guys out at second, though, as a catcher. My dad hated when I played catcher. Because he's just like, why are you back there? But I loved throwing guys out at second. That was like my most favorite thing.
I played baseball through my freshman year of high school. I was a catcher. I was a pretty decent hit. Like I told you last episode, when I played sports at middle school, I was big. So even middle school baseball, I was hitting bombs. Then everything caught up to me. Kids are throwing harder. They're throwing different pitches. I couldn't hit anything but a fastball. Yeah, so I just I'm sick of hockey. I
used to be able to throw a really good knuckleball when I was young. Like I'd use like my nails.
That's an underrated pitch.
Yeah, I still got a pretty good knuckleball though. I can still throw a pretty good knuckler. But I actually had my last year of baseball that I played, I must have been maybe 15. This is kind of before I was like just starting to get to the point where I kind of had to pick like one or the other.
Yeah.
And my whole AAA team, like I always played AAA ball, always played in the All-Star team and stuff. My whole AAA team, we didn't really like the coach, honestly.
Yeah.
He was like, didn't really get along with the coach's son, didn't really get along with the coach. So my whole AAA team said, fuck it, let's go play AA. And we just slaughtered AA that year. And we had a rule. It was kind of funny because we were just like having so much fun.
Like a mercy rule?
Yeah. And dude, I think about it now, I was 15. I think I remember chewing tobacco. Like I don't do that now, but like, what was I doing at 15 years old chewing tobacco? Like,
oh my God.
Gross. Just to be like cool, thinking I was
like. Did you have
like,
a mullet then too, or no?
No, I wish. I should have though. What the fuck was I thinking? I feel like it's a good baseball player haircut too. But back to the story. We had a rule. If you go up to bat and the bases are loaded, you got to wear dish gloves. We had a yellow set of dish gloves. Because we didn't. It was just like, hey, you're cleaning up. Take the disc gloves.
Subliminals.
You're cleaning up. Take the disc gloves out, and it's a lot of pressure going up with the bases loaded
with disc gloves.
And disc gloves. Yeah, I struck out with the disc gloves, and like I'm telling you, my dad was serious. My dad is serious.
Yeah,
more serious back then, but he was fucking pissed on that drive home. That was a long, long drive home. It wasn't really, but it felt like it.
Well, I got some stories about long rides home.
Oh yeah. Couple probably home from Danbury Ice Arena.
Yeah. Getting kicked out on North Street. Yeah, tough times, man. Was Shitty on that team? Your buddy Shitty?
He wasn't a baseball player, but I played hockey with him. We used to have slew foot competitions. Yeah, it's kind of fucked up, honestly. I don't even like talking about that. But.
Oh, my God.
Shout out to Shit Dog.
Shit Dog.
R.I.P.
Listen, it was a great episode, man. It's getting a little easier as we navigate through this. We
just gotta let it go.
We started. I feel like we started this episode talking about shit picks to Shit Dog. You see how that worked?
Whoa.
Without even trying.
I like it. Crazy.
So, listen, guys, Talking Trash Podcast, we got so much on the way. Not just the podcast. We got other content coming out. Like, subscribe. We got a lot coming. Make sure, throw all the daggers at us. We welcome it. We're not going to just be talking about the positive stuff. You got something to say?
Say it. Come get it.
I recently, I think I told you this, I saw a YouTube video recently about someone saying that I wasn't wearing my real face in the documentary.
Oh yeah, like you're a clone,
I had a mask
you're a clone or something, or you're like not real.
It was dead serious.
That's good. I love that stuff.
It was one of the greatest things I ever. We're gonna have to have Shane pull that out. But yeah, allegedly I wasn't wearing a real face in the documentary.
I like that. It's a little conspiracy video.
Yeah, these are the nuts that are out there. I
like that.
I'm a sitting duck at Champs. I got these nut jobs coming in talking to me. You know,
we gotta get into the conspiracy videos about stuff like that.
Well, that's right up your alley. I'm right in the middle. I'm not gonna say one or the other. I can see it always, but
I think it's perfect though. It creates a good conversation because I can put my. You know what? Maybe we do a segment where I put a tinfoil hat on. And I can talk about some crazy shit, and you can talk about how crazy I am.
Listen, I got some theories too, but you know what? Like I said, people, like, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for the support. And listen, big shout out. We should have probably started this in the first episode, but big shout out to our production team.
Yes.
Ian, Bick, Shane, Patrick. We got such a great team. Make sure, and listen, we're team guys, right?
Yeah.
So even though our boy Ian Bick has a podcast, Locked In with Ian Bick. You got to make sure he's our teammate. He's our line mate. So you got to like and subscribe his shit too.
And we're on the fourth line, by the way. And
yes, we are grinders. We don't want this pretty shit.
Nah, man, we're dump and chase in this studio.
It's gritty and pretty, man. It's gritty over pretty. So big shout out Ian Bick, Shane, Patrick, our whole squad, man. And listen, we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Like and subscribe.
Thank you.